Welcome back to the SUI Sustainability and Project Management Training videos. We're back here with me, Leah, your host, and Nancy, our trainer. And in the last videos, what we did was a brief description of sustainability model for SUI, the rationale for project management for SU national movements, and we looked at the definitions of project management and differentiated between projects, programs, and portfolios. Nancy, so what do you want us to focus on today?
So I would like us to unpack projects a little bit more. In our last video, we said that one of the characteristics of a project is that it has to be focused. So what does that mean? And so our focus today is to answer that question. But maybe let me start by asking you a question, Leah. Could you mention some common terms that you have interacted with in relation to projects or, project proposals?
Yeah, so we think about what we want to achieve, what kind of change we want to see. We talk about the time the project has to cover, the budget. So where do you want to go from here?
Right, yeah, that's absolutely right. And yes, a project, like we said, has to have a budget. It has to have what we want to achieve. And what we want to achieve is really what we call a goal, It has to have a goal. It also have to have specific objectives, and we'll be looking at that later, and also clear outcomes. And so in this video, we will just focus on the project goal. But allow me to ask you another question. Why are we recording these videos?
So we're recording these videos to help people to understand basic project management terms so that we can help them as they work on their project proposals.
No, nice, that's great. And in this sense, that is a goal, to make definition, to define and, just build capacity for ourselves to be able to implement projects in a more professional way. So that's our goal. And it is always important to differentiate goals and projects. And it really is to say that most of what we do in life has a goal, whether we have written it down or not, or whether we have thought through that or not. Everything we do in life actually does have a goal. And so in this video, we will therefore focus on what a goal is in project management. And the summary of that is to say that a goal refers to the desired outcome of the project, the desired end product of the project, the desired outcome of the project. And a goal therefore answers the question, what do you want to achieve, right? What do you want to see by the end of the project? And a goal looks therefore into the long term. Yes, there could be short-term and medium-term results, but overall, we look at the long term. What is that long-term impact, long-term outcome that we'd like to see? The other way of asking that is, what are you aiming at? What's your aim, right? What future state do you envision? So without which, without doing the project, we would not otherwise have that future state. What future state do you envision? And therefore, it's a question of the reason for doing this project, the value add to the stakeholders, the worth that comes with this project. And remember, in the last video, we said that a project must be a change driver. And it's actually in the goal that we stipulate and articulate what that change looks like. Allow me to give an example of a goal. So a movement may want to have a child-friendly and safe campsite that fosters spiritual nurture, psychosocial support, and life skills for children and families. A child-friendly and safe campsite that fosters spiritual nurture, psychosocial support, and life skills for children and families. Now, that's the outcome, a child-friendly and safe campsite, right? But that is not the the entire end of that project, because the reason why we are doing this project is not just to have a campsite, okay? It's not just to have a nice campsite. The end product is that we have children in that campsite. We have programs through which we are fostering spiritual nurture, psychosocial support, and life skills for children. So Leah, you can imagine the end result of that project. It's not going to happen in a year, and it's not going to happen in 2 or maybe 5 years. But when you think about the lifespan of that child, is that into maybe 10, 20 years down the road, we are still seeing the impact that came from that fostering of spiritual nurture, psychosocial support. However, we needed a space, an environment within which that could happen. So that is an example of a goal to see a child-friendly and safe campsite that fosters spiritual nurture, psychosocial support, and life skills for children and families. I hope that's clear.
That's absolutely clear.
Allow me to unpack it a little further, Leah. So a goal anticipates there's an issue that you want to address or a need you want to meet. Now, that's absolutely critical. So the question is, why do we want to do this project? It must be meeting a specific issue or meeting a need. Now, I'll not go into the details of how we decide what that need is. Again, that's pretty well covered in our project management training. And that is the beginning of success. Because without knowing the specific need we want to meet and why we want to meet it, then really we are saying we don't have a project that will be successful. So there is that, therefore, very important engagement with stakeholders to understand what are the issues on the ground. What need do we need to meet? What issue are we dealing with? And so a goal is a broad, like we have said, it's broad and futuristic, but it defines what success will look like, right? What would the success look like for this campsite that we are wanting to develop? A goal is the heart and driving force behind your project. It is really, the bottom line. It's where the rubber meets the road, as it were. And hence, it should be inspiring and it should express enthusiasm. So the way it is phrased, the words that are used, the language that is used should inspire, enthusiasm and be, and express enthusiasm. But a goal should also be clearly understood. It should be defined and it should be achievable. So it shouldn't be something that is vague or ambiguous. There should be clarity in terms of what we want to do with this project. And finally on that is that a goal should be agreed with stakeholders and documented. Now, I know we work with children, and sometimes we wonder how much do we involve children in our goal setting, in our project formulation. But truth be told is that we should involve children, because in the first sense, it's them. I mean, we need to understand what their needs are, right? So whether it's direct or indirect involvement, we should involve children. We should involve the parents, and of course, we work with church. So we should have an engagement with stakeholders before we decide this is a project that we want to do, because only then will we have ownership, but as well sustainability for that project, right? So I think those components are absolutely very important to understand about the long term, to understand what defines success, to understand how to phrase, to articulate, to define that goal, and to ensure that we are involving stakeholders, at every process of the project formulation.
That's very helpful. So thank you for taking us through what a goal is and how do we find the right goal. And please follow us for the next videos to go through other definitions of project management and sustainability. This is it for today. Goodbye.
Bye-bye for now.